Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Wednesday edition. Ty, what day is it, Ty? I know you know what day it is. What day is it? What day is it?
It's hump day.
Hump day. Welcome
It's
in.
also Brian Tolnar Day, though, for
It
YSN.
is Brian Tolnar Day on YSN. We have him coming on the show at 1 o'clock. Scotty Mincher will join us in the studio at 12:30. We're getting back to him trying to stump you. He'll have 10 minutes to try to stump Ty with some trivia questions, and I'm sure he'll want to talk about the Browns-Chiefs game.
I'm sure.
I'll
sure.
be happy to talk about it. I mean, if he wants to.
I'll be the nice mediator in the middle because I'm already pissed that my Patriots lost by a single point to the Dolphins on Sunday. But I'll be the nice mediator in the middle of
You know what? You lost, but Mac Jones looked like
he looked good, and you know what I mean. Not to even. I don't want to stay on this for too long, but yeah, you know what? I think the future is looking up for us right now. I think I'm confident with Mac being the starter.
Ty right now looks like he's half rendered.
I look half rendered and I also look like I'm trying to pull off a Steve Jobs look, and it's just not working out for me.
Welcome to my TED Talk. We have a lot of volleyball results to get to from last night here on a Wednesday edition, a big Tuesday night of volleyball. And we'll start with where I was at, and Girard, as the Indians maintained the grip of first place with a win over Jefferson in 4 sets. It was a great volleyball match. Jefferson came out, won the first set. A lot of energy, 25-23. Girard won the next 4. Scores there were, once again, 23-25, 25-17, 25-15. And then Girard won a really close one, 25-23. Girard's still a top dog in the 88 tie. They get the win. Jefferson came in with the opportunity. They played well. Honestly, the coach is probably going to look back at that third set and say, yeah, man, we just can't give up sets like that. 25-15 probably should have been a little better. But at the end of the day, Girard 9-0 on the year, and they are still top in the NE8.
I mean, another big win is that you just continue on with their NE8 schedule and keep on picking up wins. And we know that's the most important thing, too, volleyball-wise. And you want to do good non-conference play, but it's really important to play well against your conference. And Girard already off to a fantastic start against the NE8.
Their offense was led by none other than Lauren Pallone and Brie Littell. They were both a dangerous tandem for Girard's offense. Pallone finished with 22 kills, and Littell had 18. So that's combined, 40, right? My math is right, 40. 40 kills for those two combined. Littell had a double-double with 16 digs to go along with her 18 kills. Pallone had 8 digs to go along with her 22 kills. Allie Durkin continues to set well. She had 24 assists. Bailey Walters split the assists. She had 10. Durkin and Walters both finished with double-doubles, by the way, because both their dig totals were 12 for Durkin and 10 for Walters. So 3 double-doubles on the night for Girard. And for Jefferson, Jackson Simmon led the offense in kills with 10. Helena Edgar set really well, found her hitters, 23 assists for her. Claire O'Rourke, 22 digs in the back row. She played really well, also 4 aces for her. Taylor Skinner, my opinion, the best blocker in the NE8. She gave, when she was in the front row, she gave Girard's offense some fits. The problem was, obviously, Jefferson kind of struggled in the rotations where Skinner wasn't in the front row. She had 5 blocks. This sets up a really big matchup on Thursday. Girard, Lakeview, round 2. Lakeview's only loss is to Girard in the 88. Girard undefeated. Once again, another match for Girard where first place is on the line. And this one's in Lakeview.
Yeah, and you know what? This one's going to be a lot tougher of a challenge. But now, if you beat Lakeview a second time in your Girard's case, I think you not only, I mean, you've already kind of stamped your flag in the middle of this NE8 and said, we're the top dogs right now. We're the team to beat. If you do it a second time against the team that was tops previous to you, and you've beaten them twice now at Lakeview, I think you firmly have that spot now. And I don't know if there's another team that's really at the position to challenge you then at that point, if you can beat Lakeview twice in the same year, now once at Lakeview as well.
It's a de facto NE8 championship is what it is, because Jefferson got their second loss of the year. So unless George stubs their toe against a team with they shouldn't, then that win against Lakeview would kind of solidify the NE8 championship.
Pretty much so. I think so as well. I think you don't want to call a game this early on in the season the NE8 championship, right, obviously, but it's going to have huge implications on the forecast of what we're going to be seeing in the next half of the season.
It's a good thing I use that word de facto, because that means that not official NE8 championship, but it's a very big step in the right direction. Want to remind everybody the comments are live, by the way, brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. To hear more about Girard's win and their upcoming match with Lakeview, we caught up with head coach Phil Walters after the game last night. Let's hear what he had to say about their win and their match coming up. Phil Walters here after another big win for Girard over Jefferson in 4 sets. Coach, another big one in the NE8. You knew Jefferson came in needing this win to stay on top. What did it take to win this one?
I'll tell you what, it took a lot of strong to get through this one. It was tough. I mean, we come in the beginning of the week, play a team as tough as they are. We really came out a little slow, few unforced errors, but when we needed it, we really started going at them hard. It was a nice match. It really was. Back and forth, a lot of nice volleys. It's a shame it ended in 4. It would have been a nice 5-gamer, but I'm happy with the 4-set win.
Much like the game at Lakeview, you guys dropped the first one, then come back and win 3 in a row. What were some of the conversations after that first set?
The first set, it's kind of the same thing I've said all along. I don't think we lost to them. We lost to ourselves. I said, you have no one to blame but yourself. We lost the unforced error battle. Just a few too many mistakes. And we again, it's a day in and day out process, keeping that ball on the court and playing smart. Too many service errors, too many attacking errors. And we did. We capitalized the second, third, and fourth set. Went away a little bit in that fourth, but we came back strong and made it tight down the stretch.
Now let's talk about that fourth set. You find yourselves down 11-4, and then come all the way back and win it in a tight one. What were some of the adjustments that you think both teams made in set 4?
I tell you, for us, it was merely a matter of serves. I think we took a lot of points away from them from the service line. We had Nico Cochran came in for us off the bench and served extremely well. Kept us in the game late. When a couple of our other players were struggling a little bit from the service line, she put the ball in and did a great job. Lauren did the same thing, and that was it. We took them out of their offense. We were spot serving, some holes we saw in their serve receive, and it worked out nice. We took the game away from them, and then we put the ball away when we needed to.
A lot of people talk about Lauren Pallone and Brie Littell, rightfully so. You had some other players really step up in this game. Talk about some of the players that do things under the shadows outside of those two.
I'll tell you right now, Maddie Molito played one of her best games of the season. She scrapped, and it wasn't that we have her playing on the right side blocking for us, and it wasn't even a matter of blocking. It was more defense. She made a couple of really nice saves that really, really helped our offense. It wasn't just a matter of the point. It was where that point was at in a run or stopping their series from them running a few points on us. So Maddie played extremely well tonight, scrapping all the way through.
Really quick, preview this Lakeview game. It's a game the Bulldogs need and you guys need. first place on the line. What's it going to take to get 2 against Lakeview?
I'll tell you what, I told the girls at the beginning of the week, we got a big red X on our back right now. Everybody wants us. They're going to be hunting for us. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a nice match. I know that Lakeview is coming out for us. We just got to hit back. I want the girls to be on their game, but I want them to feel free and play a nice, well-adjusted game and just go out there and, explode. Lakeview's tough. They're always tough. But I think we're going to be up for this one. I think we're ready.
Coach, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right, thank you.
That was Phil Walters joining us after the game last night to talk about that win. We also caught up with the Baird Brothers player of the game, Bree Littell. So let's hear what Bree Littell had to say about the win last night for Girard. Anthony Hartley here with today's Baird Brothers player of the game, Bree Littell. Bree, this is a big win for you guys in the 88. Jefferson came in, 5-1. They're right on your heels. What does this mean win for the team?
I think it really puts a lot of momentum on us, and it prepares us for our next game against Lakeview, which is going to be a tough one too. And I think it just helps the team get closer.
Everyone talks about your swing because it's so hard. You take a lot of pride in your defense as well. You're playing so hard out there, diving for balls. How much pride do you really take in the defense that you bring to the game?
Just the same as my offense. I mean, got to put 100% effort for both, so just as important to me.
You got to let us know, what's the bigger feeling? Getting that big swing and a big kill, or taking away a big kill with a big dig?
Probably getting a kill for me.
You're a lefty, and that's hard for people to read. What kind of advantage do you think that gives you? Obviously, on the right side, easier for you to go down the line, things like that. What kind of advantage do you think that gives you?
Yeah, like you said, I think it's harder for people to read me, and they don't know where I'm going to go. Like, I could go down the line on the outside, and they wouldn't even know. So I think that helps a lot, too.
Still young in this season, only about halfway through. What kind of team goals do you guys have for the rest of the year?
We just hope to keep this win streak going for as long as possible and win the conference.
You got to ask, because this atmosphere tonight was electric. You guys get full capacity crowds now. What's it like to have the energy that these fans bring?
It's really good. I really enjoy everyone cheering, and I think it brings the school and students closer together, and it helps us become a better atmosphere.
Got to also ask about your teammate Lauren Palone, having her as another hitter in this offense. What's it like being a tandem and not knowing where's it going to go, and having two people like that are just electric?
Lauren is insane. She amazes me every day, but I think we're just a great duo together.
Is there a little internal competition between you?
Sure.
Yeah. One more thing, preview this Lakeview game. You got it the first time. You have to go there now. Hot gym. What's it going to take to get a second win over Lakeview?
I think we just have to play our game, and if we do, I think we'll have no struggle. I mean, they're a very, very good team, but I think we can do it.
Bree, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Good luck against Lakeview. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
So that was the Baird Brothers player of the game from last night, Bree Littell, joining us after the game. We definitely appreciate the time of her and Phil Walters both joining us. And now we continue some volleyball results. And, we talk about that one side of that matchup, and we go to the other side. Lakeview gets the sweep over Hubbard to set up this first place brawl on Thursday. Terrell Hatton had a great game again. She continues to impress. 14 kills, 5 blocks. Maggie Pavlansky, a double-double, 15 assists, 10 digs. And both of those numbers led the team. Emma Schmader added 9 kills to the offense. So Lakeview gets the sweep over Hubbard. The scores 25-22, 25-19, 25-17. And that sets up, obviously, the big match on Thursday. Some other scores around the area. Western Reserve stays undefeated. They got the win over Waterloo, 25-21, 25-16, 25-9. Gianna Paris, 9 kills, 9 assists, 9 digs. So that close to a triple-double. 9 in 3 different categories. Olivia Hughes led the offense with, led the swinger, led the attackers with 7 kills. 15 digs, 3 aces for her. And Grace Baird, 15 assists, 4 aces. And Western Reserve will play McDonald on Thursday. So Reserve stays undefeated.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, another great team too, and there's a lot of great potential matchups we could see in volleyball this year, and just this area in the tournament that I'm excited for, and I think come tournament time are going to be really fun. And you talk about Lakeview too with that hot gym. What if Lakeview, and this would be a mental advantage, make it cold, make it freezing cold, make it like 60 degrees.
I don't know if they
Gerard.
can.
I don't think they can either, but what if they did? To throw Gerard completely off their game, making an ice box in there.
I'm just interested to see if Gerard wears their long sleeves if they make that bold move, because that'd
be a statement like, we don't care about how hot your gym is.
That's kind of like that's like the football players that do warm up shirtless on a cold night to intimidate the other team.
I mean, it does. I mean, it does add a factor of like your advantage or your weather advantage or whatever advantage it is not an advantage at all. I don't care.
Columbiana stays hot. They get the win over Valley Christian, 25-5, 25-13, 25-11. You look at this, Julia Rapp led the offense, 7 kills, 5 digs for her, 7 aces. Cameron Perkins set really well and also led the defense with 14 kills, 13 assists, double-double for her. She also had 4 kills. Columbiana, they'll go Thursday to host United. Valley Christian stays on the road. They go to Latonia.
Both should be good matchups, too, I think, coming up as well. I think especially a Columbiana United matchup should be a fun one.
Middle Ridge, a tough start to the season, but they found a little bit of a groove. They sweep Springfield 25-12, 25-19, 25-17. Faye Schneider, 9 kills, 11 digs for her. Ava Hewlett, 7 kills, 8 digs. And Olivia Booth had 4 kills, 4 digs for the Rams. The Tigers were led by Jamaica Brungard, 6 kills on the night for her. Maddie Lesnack had 5 kills, 2 blocks. Sam McKim led the defense with 11 digs. And Gianna Pachuta had 9 assists. Middle Ridge will return to action on Thursday. They host Jackson Milton. Springfield hits the road on Thursday. They go to Lowville.
Yeah, and I mean, the Springfield-Lowville matchup, you get a little preview. Springfield does of our big dog of the week, week 1, right, too. So, and don't forget, we got her coming on the show tomorrow to open up the show, as that'll be a good little preview into that. We have, Sammy Kelly, right?
Sammy Kelly coming on to start the show tomorrow.
Starting the show tomorrow. So our big dog of the Valley, week number 1 for volleyball, Sammy Kelly, to start the show, our big dog interview. So you won't want to miss that. It's 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Crestview continues to roll in the MVAC. They keep LeBray at bay, 25-7, 25-12. And then third set got really hairy, 25-23. LeBray trying to force a fourth. Couldn't quite muster up enough, but Crestview gets the sweep. Lucy Montgomery, hey, double-double. That's no shock at all. She's up for Big Dogs of the Valley this week. 10 kills, 12 assists for her. Grace Hour, double-double as well. 10 kills and 11 digs. Abby Emsch continues to impress. 3 blocks on the night for her, 4 kills, contributing for the offense. The Rebels stay in the MVAC on Thursday. They square off with Liberty. LeBray will go out of conference tonight, and they will host Jackson Milton.
Yeah, both should be really good matchups too, I think. And especially with this Crestview team, you're really seeing how good that this Crestview team is starting to become. And, those teams, when you get up 2-0, it's easy to let a set go and lose. So, I mean, when you are able to hold off that comeback and win it in 3 straight, and win it in straight sets, that shows a lot about your team, that you have the character and the focus to stay focused through every single set, not let one set go.
Yeah, after 2 dominating sets, that third in Crestview got really interesting. LeBray trying to get some momentum, and Crestview dug deep.
Very hard to sweep. It's very hard to sweep 3-0.
Lisbon did just that as they went and swept Latonia, who, by the way, Latonia was on a big, long break due to COVID protocols. This was their first match back. And really their first set, high energy, 25-23. Lisbon won it. Then you could tell, I think, the fatigue of being off for so long wore down the Bears. The next 2 sets, 25-16, 25-7. So the Bears tail off after a very competitive first set. Eliza Baker led the offense. She had 8 kills, also 5 digs for her. McKenna Daly, a really good libero back there for Lisbon, 11 digs, and that led the defense. So Lisbon, they won 2 in a row. They're looking to make it 3 in a row. Thursday, they go to Southern. Latonia returns home tonight to host Sebring.
I think Latonia is a team you're going to see start to get better as the season progresses too. I think that first set you really got a glimpse of what they can be. But like you said, when you're off for so long, they got a lot of catching up to do. Like you said, energy wise, and just having the stamina to go straight sets. So we'll have to see as the season goes on. I think you're going to see this Latonia team start to improve.
And a big news out of West Branch, by the way, Penny DeShields gets her 300th career victory for the Warriors with the win over Canton South. So 300 wins, not the only DeShields in the program that can get 300. I believe Walt DeShields hit the milestone last year in basketball season, and then Penny DeShields comes up and says, "My turn here in volleyball." She gets the 300th win in Canton South.
And I mean, what the DeShields are doing in West Branch as a whole, man, they're leaving their name marked on that school. As you might as well name a stadium or something, a student section, something after them, because
it's over. You got girls basketball, you got volleyball, and then you have what Drew's doing on the football field.
It's all over the place. So that's why I'm saying you got to name a student section or something after that family's name, after the legacy they're going to have at that school.
Give them a brick at the stadium or something. Got it.
Yes. Jeez.
Make it DeShields Court on that gym. Something.
That would be awesome.
Something's got to be done for that family. It's just incredible.
He's calling for action right now.
I'm calling. Let's go. It's incredible. The family, I want to get a roundtable discussion with Penny, Walt, and Drew, and that whole family. I think
a roundtable discussion with the DeShields.
Right. That would be a really cool idea. And
that would be.
So that's when I'll go up. Running Point, you get the ideas that might develop into something. So that's going on the chalkboard.
Around DeShields. I love it. I love it.
Raise up your shields.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So once again, congratulations to Penny DeShields for getting her 300th career win last night. West Branch wins over Canton South. They're still undefeated in the volleyball season.
Yeah, I mean, as we expect them to be. West Branch, a fantastic program, and another one of those programs we're going to be looking forward to come tournament time. There's so many under the YSN banner that I think can make such a good run this year.
And we'll talk about this a little bit more with Brian Tolnar, but Boardman boys and girls golf sweep the AAC championships at Youngstown Country Club yesterday, I should say. Not playing at night for golf, but yesterday they sweep the AAC championships, girls and boys. Both Boardman golf teams win their respective titles, and Brian's going to be talking to us about that at 1 o'clock. Scotty is coming in the studio at 12:30. We're going to take a quick break. So come back for us to talk a little bit to Scotty Mincher and see if he can stump Ty with some trivia. So we'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently. enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. Want to let everyone know the comments section is open, brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, whatever platform you're watching on. Ty, we do have a fan question today. Do you want to let people know what it is?
Yeah, we wanted to know, as far as the marching bands are concerned, because we know there's so many great area ones, what is the best area marching band that you have witnessed in person? High school marching band, that is. What is the best high school marching band that you have witnessed in person is the fan question today.
Awesome. We want to highlight the bands a little bit. You get to see them on the Audible call every week, and we love our bands as much as we love our teams. So as we continue the Wednesday, we do want to give the numbers for that West Branch when we were talking about. They just came in. They won the match in 3 sets, 25-23, 25-12, 25-19. Sydney Mercer had 11 kills, 3 aces. Hannah Rush had 27 assists. And Reagan Greenison had 14 digs. West Branch is 8-0 and undefeated in the EBC as well. They continue league play Thursday against Minerva. So those were the numbers for that West Branch game we talked about before the break. Once again, Penny DeShields getting her 300th career win. Congratulations to her. And look who we have in the studio, Mr. Scotty Mincher. Scotty Too Hotty, what's up, brother?
Oh, Anthony, you know, I'm down and I'm not, but I'm not out. I'm down, but I'm not out. I know I said you did it to me this morning.
I didn't do anything.
It was your team again that delivered another soul-crushing blow. But like I said this morning, hey, who knows? Maybe there'll be a trilogy, right?
Soul crushing. I think that's a little overly dramatic. It's week 1.
Yeah, it's a little overly dramatic. Always been that way, I guess, as a Cleveland fan.
That's true.
I do want to get into that, Anthony, into the Browns Chiefs this past week 1 matchup. But before I do, I wanted to talk some local, and then we'll close the show by me doing my best to stump the wonder boy,
the robot,
Ty Bartell, the man genius.
I saw a cord being plugged in his back today. So
Eric Mangini was called. Yeah, I think Ty's really like an android or a cycle.
No, Friday he was in the office talking to our copy machine. So,
oh yeah, he's just not human, man. Just like that Patrick.
All right, so
Mahomes.
what are you bringing to us today, Scotty?
But anyway, locally, Anthony and Ty, of course, you interject as well, as this is your guys' show. But I just wanted to know from your guys' perspective, because I only got to catch a little bit. I was bouncing around on the Audible call, but I had a friend visit me from out of town, so I didn't get to catch as much of the area action as I wanted. I was bouncing around a little bit. But if you remember, Anthony, last week we talked about and kind of previewed the Springfield-Louisville game. And I got vibes from you, and you kind of hinted that you thought, maybe at the beginning of the week it was 50-50, and then you really started leaning toward Springfield taking care of business. So I'm not going to ask you what the difference was and why you think they won, and we all know how special Bo Brungard is. But why do you guys think it was so decisive? Do you think Louisville just has growing up to do and they're just not quite on Springfield's level yet? Or did you guys think it kind of goes deeper than that?
Ty, I'll bring you in to this conversation as well. But when I got to watch it on the Audible call, so not like I wasn't watching the whole game in the all 22 look or breaking down film or anything. But what it seemed to me was, one, Louisville was a little bit too one-dimensional to beat a team like Springfield, because Springfield just came with like cover zero and said, we're going to send more guys than you can block, and Vinny Ballone's going to have to make decisions under a lot of pressure. And that's what he was doing all night. And then on Springfield's offense, like I said, against Geneva, they figured it out. And that's why I was leaning towards Springfield, because first 2 weeks, Springfield looked like they were trying to figure things out. Week 3, they looked like they found the keys to the ignition. And then week 4, they hit the gas, and they hit it hard against Louisville, because their first 3 plays were 3 touchdowns.
How demoralized do you guys think a loss like that will be for Louisville?
It can be. I mean, we're talking about kids that really won that game, but I hope it's not, because this Louisville team is way too good to be defined by one loss to Springfield.
I also think like Louisville is a team that hasn't been in this team
locally before we get into.
Scotty just cut you off, Ty.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I'm just messing with you, Scotty.
I can't I'm having trouble. I'm not hearing Ty. So
Ty, talk to see if Scotty can hear you.
Scotty, you hearing me?
Yeah.
Barely.
Oh,
It's
man.
like very faint.
Can you hear me good?
I could hear you perfectly.
Oh, that's weird.
I just can't hear Ty. So sorry for the interruption.
You're good.
No, it's all right.
I just wanted to know one final thing locally. It was a dandy of a game between Ursuline and Austintown Fitch this past week, and I wanted to know from both of you guys what game or games, plural, are you most looking forward to this coming weekend, and why?
You know, I'll let Ty start, and because he obviously got to call that game, and we want to see if Scotty can hear Ty now. So Ty, why don't you talk about what game you're looking forward to the most?
I mean, there's a load of games that are coming up this week. I mean, Cheney and Canfield is one that we've been kind of hinting at. That's going to be a very good game, I think, in Division III. It's going to be rough and tough. And I think this is a team where Canfield has a very good offense where they could run the ball, they could pass the ball, but Cheney is very physical. They're very fast. They're very athletic, and they could keep up with the best of them. And Cheney on a 2-game win streak now. Looks like they're figuring it out. Looks like Andy Galt's figuring it out. I think that's going to be a really good matchup too, as well as there are a couple other matchups too around the area that I think are going to be pretty good. I think this Niles and Jefferson match I'm excited for because I'm excited to see what else Jefferson can do. Of course, South Range and Poland. How are you not going to be excited for that one? That's going to be a huge one as well.
You know what? I'm looking at this board, and of course, you know, South Range, Poland, the games that you said. Crestview, Liberty. I mean, I know I've been like the flag waver for Liberty all season, but I think this is a game with Crestview that's starting to find rhythm on offense and look a lot better than they did in weeks 1 and 2, and a Liberty team that, you know, they had a game plan against Rootstown on the fly, and they were able to come back in the fourth quarter, score I believe 14 unanswered points, and make that a really good game against Rootstown. 24-20 they lost. I really like what both these teams are at right now. I think they're both kind of in the same position, and whoever wins this game is going to take a big step in the next direction, trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's going to be another one of those big games too. And we know Q6 still at quarterback is an X factor too for this Crestview team. I think that's another good game. And you know what? I'm also looking at the Lowville Rockets again because I think this is a good matchup with the Jackson Milton Blue Jays. And I'm curious to see if Lowville can respond now. Can you respond after that loss to Springfield? And let's see if Vinny Balone and the Rockets can get back to what they do best.
Bounce back opportunity. And I do want to take the time to say we got some news right before the show went on. Niles and Jefferson is canceled. Unfortunately, Niles has COVID protocol going on. Jefferson picked up a game. They will host Strongsville now. So, unfortunately, once again, COVID has reared its ugly head, and Jefferson finds a new opponent in Strongsville. They'll play them, and Niles Jefferson is not happening this Friday.
Yeah, and Jefferson, though, I mean, exciting to see what they can do now after their first loss of the season. Can they get back to what they do best as well? Putting up a good defensive performance in that second half. They finally figured it out. It's an NE8 game that they haven't, that's going to be erased off of their schedule now, but they get back to non-conference play, and hey, in non-conference play, they're 3-0 this season, so maybe that'll get them back on track.
Scotty, what about you? What game are you looking forward to?
I think obviously I want to see if my alma mater, if Lowville could bounce back. I think about that one immediately, but as Ty mentioned just a moment ago, I'm really looking forward to South Range and Poland, especially because I got to see Poland last week and looking so good in that first half against Hubbard and then not closing the deal. Can they do the same thing but do it for 4 quarters against a South Range team that always comes to play and is always ready? So those are the two games, Louisville and what they're going to do against the Blue Jays, and then, of course, Poland against the Raiders. Those are probably the two games I'll be mostly keeping an eye on.
Okay, Scotty, we have about 5 minutes to get whatever you want to get off your chest about this Browns-Chiefs game.
Yeah, I know. We got to go quick here. And I wanted to go quick because, honestly, the game's over. We can't change it. It's only week one. I thought, and you may disagree, Anthony, but I thought just this game specifically, I thought it was more the Browns gave the game away than the Chiefs won it because of their mistakes. I know Patrick Mahomes is an alien, and I knew the double-digit deficit, even though it was only 12. I knew only being up 12 at halftime was nothing against the Chiefs. It never is, because they play the same way whether they're up 12 or down 12. So I knew it was just basically a clean slate in that second half. And the Browns and Baker looked great in the first half, and Stefanski had a great game plan. I thought Baker even really looked good in a lot of the third quarter. The fourth quarter is when the Browns and Baker and everyone else really started pooping the bed. I thought, obviously, you had the Nick Chubb fumble. You had Jamie Gillen, the punter, fumbling a perfect snap. And then the Mayfield interception at the end of the game. But I wanted to ask you, Anthony, is there any level on your part at all, like any ounce of fear about the Browns going forward if you would have to play them again? Or because Mahomes is so good, you're not really sweating it? And the second part of that, do you see the Browns as the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC, or do you think it's the Buffalo Bills, the Steelers, the Ravens, or somebody else?
I'll tell you, just going off of week one, it's a long season. The Steelers look like they were built to beat Kansas City. And the Browns are actually a roster that's pretty much – I know they didn't beat them. They lost by 4. But you saw a lot of formula how you want to beat Kansas City. You want to run the ball. You want to control the clock. You want to be able to pressure without blitzing. For the most part, the Browns put a lot of pressure on Mahomes. He was just able to escape most of the time. I feel like the Browns and the Steelers are both built to beat Kansas City. I'm not scared of Buffalo because Buffalo is just a team that's going to try to outscore us, and their defense, I don't think, has proven that their defense can't stop Kansas City, and they can't get to Mahomes without blitzing. I'm more scared of the teams that have a really good run game and have a really good pass rush. I think those are the two things you need to beat the Chiefs. And then, timely quarterback plays. And I feel bad for Baker Mayfield because he played probably the best game of his career for about 3.5 quarters. And then when the game mattered most, and he said this in his press conference, you look at the last 3 drives for Cleveland, punt, interception. When like the game was on the line, punt, interception. And I don't put that interception a lot on Baker Mayfield's shoulders because 9.9 times out of 10, that ball is out of bounds. He got tripped up by Sorensen from the backside at the last second. It was like perfect timing because he got tripped up just as he was releasing the ball. So it's not like he could have just tucked it and fall down. I mean, it was a perfect timing to grab his feet. And obviously he wanted to put that ball 3 rows in the stands. 9.9 times out of 10, it probably is. And unfortunately for the Browns, it just terrible timing with the Sorensen grabbing his feet.
Yeah, again, it was a tough loss. I think the Browns will be fine Where this will hurt the Browns, I think, is if you want to, if they possibly wanted to get the 1 seed in the AFC, because I legit, it might sound a little bit bullish, but I legit think the Chiefs, every time they go out, they're going to win. So it wouldn't shock me if the Chiefs went 17-0. So a loss like they had in week 1 could really hurt the Browns if they wanted the 1 seed. But other than that, I think they'll be fine. They just got to flush it, move forward, and correct their mistakes.
What did I say every time we brought up this matchup before the season started? I'm more interested in the 2 to 3 games after Kansas City than I was in that Kansas City game if I'm a Browns fan, because how this team responds to a game that they really, really wanted. Like, every player on the Browns roster felt like they had the Chiefs in their grasp in that playoff game. They opened the season with them, and they want them so bad, and they don't get it. Can you respond the next 2 weeks and take care of business? You should beat the Texans, but the Texans looked pretty good.
And you know what? For me to just interject real quick, and I'll just give my 2 cents before we have to put the topic away and Scotty can finish it out. But I just wanted to say, for my 2 cents on what I saw from the game and what I think, the Chiefs are going to come out. Every year, September, we know what Patrick Mahomes does at home field advantage in September. He's magical. He doesn't make mistakes. He plays very good warm weather football. And what I'm interested to see is that late in the season, when these offenses built more towards running too, especially the Browns in that weather condition, if the Browns can pull off a home field advantage against Kansas City, if they can get that number 1 seed, an AFC championship game in Cleveland changes the whole scenario for Kansas City. Not that Patrick Mahomes can't throw well in the weather, but you really need to depend more on the run game when you go in cold and weather conditions. And I really didn't see a whole lot of impressive things, a little bit in that second half with the Kansas City run game, but it's something that I think they definitely need to figure out. And the Browns are built with a solid run game, I think, to go later in the season with the adverse weather conditions. I'm just curious to see now with Kansas City on their offense, how that run game responds. But I think, with Patrick Mahomes and what they got there, that's always going to be the team to beat. But I think this is going to be better for the Browns because it just makes them hungrier to beat Kansas City.
All right, Scotty, you got 10 minutes on the clock to try to fool Ty with some trivia questions. What are you bringing to the table today?
Yeah, this first one, because you're an Indians connoisseur, Ty, an Indians expert, this one could be difficult or it could be a layup for you. I want to know from you, Ty, the Indians traded a guy that was the current manager of the Mahoning Valley Strappers. The Indians traded him to the Red Sox, and it was the first time he left Cleveland, and the trade happened in 2006. And I want to know from you, Ty, one player the Indians received in that trade in 2006 of Coco Crisp, and at least one player that they gave away to Boston.
Obviously, other than Coco Crisp, because obviously they gave him the Boston.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take Coco Crisp on that one.
No, I'm not letting that fly. Judge says no. You have to pick another player. Love these awkward silence moments while Ty thinks. Scotty, you keep coming in with Indians questions against the guy that's an Indians fan. I don't know, man. And I think you got to get obscure with these questions. I think you got to go with like Blue Jays trivia or something like that.
Well, I know the one because I know Kelly Shopik came as the catcher for that 2007 season the next year after we got him. So Kelly Shopik came in that deal. We also sent, I think, Josh Bard to them. We got Guillermo Mota, I think. Andy Marte, I think, came to the Indians as well. There was another player, I think. You said 6-player deal, so yeah, there was one more player. We got 3. We gave him Coco. Obviously, we gave him Bard.
Jeez. Are these? Did he get one?
David Risky, I think, was the other one.
Oh my God!
Got all 6. She just said screw one. I got all 6.
Wow. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I'm 0 for 1. Okay, my second one here, Ty. Who was the first rookie to win the Cy Young Award? And it happened in the National League. Who was the first rookie to win a Cy Young Award?
See, I think Scotty's also being too kind. I wouldn't have told him what league it happened in. I would have just been like, first rookie, go.
It was Fernando Valenzuela.
0 for 2. You got me again. I'm gonna keep going, keep rolling them out here. This is an NBA one. We'll see if you get this one. I've always been an NBA fan. I did not know this question. I'm sure you will, but who is the only New York Knick to lead the NBA in scoring?
See, there you go. Pick obscure teams and see if he can get it.
See, this one's a tricky one, Scotty, because my mind immediately went to Ewing, but that's not my answer right off the rip, because I have to think a little bit. Because Ewing played a lot of those years with Jordan, and I don't think at one singular time he ever led the league in scoring.
Scotty's smiling a little bit.
I'm thinking, hold on, because he's getting giddy. Hold on, Scotty.
Ty's got some game management. He's just wasting time so Scotty can't rattle off another question. I think Ty needs a time limit.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Ty, it's 12:52:30. I'm giving you till 12:53:30. You got a minute. 60 seconds.
I'm thinking. If there's only been one
ever, I can't believe that.
Because I thought there was. See, I thought there was 2. Because one that I'm thinking of, I think Bernard King did it in the 80s. But there's another one. I thought Carmelo did it in the early 2000s. Also led the league in scoring. I could be wrong on that one. I'm pretty sure. I'm more sure about Bernard King leading it in the 80s. I'll say Bernard King led it in the 80s, but I'm pretty sure Carmelo also did it. If there's 2, I think there's a Bernard King and a Carmelo one that led it, because I thought Melo did it in 2012. But I'll say Bernard King did it in the 80s.
Bernard King.
Screw you, Ty.
It's Bernard King. And he just beat the clock, too.
Just beat the clock.
Scotty, you got...
What a magician.
You got about 3 minutes in change.
Okay.
Probably one more question.
My next one. Who is the only player to win a scoring title in the NBA, ABA, and NCAA?
Ooh. NBA, ABA, and the NCAA. And so you're saying he led scoring in all 3 of those categories?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's an older player. It has to be, obviously, because it's an NBA. So the only one that I could think of, because it's not too early. It's not. So I know it's not another, like none of the 50s players, I don't think. It's, if I'm thinking of one, 70s, probably he was in the NBA. Master of the underhand free throw. Rick Barry, I'm thinking.
Ooh, sniped.
Another dagger in my heart.
Scotty, you got time for another quick one? We have just under a minute and a half.
Okay.
Scotty, Ty, you got to answer quick though.
This is my last one here, Ty. Let's see if you can get this one. This one I kept in the holster to be the last question. How many minutes, Ty, does it take to get from your house to Springfield High School?
Oh my god. Which one?
Well, Scotty, I mean, if we're going off the one I think we're going off of, I'm saying it's about 50 minutes from my house to Springfield High School. And there's some change I want to give you with that end of that sentence, Scotty, but I'm going to have to say it off the air. But thank you very much.
Okay, you stuck me in the heart with a dagger all those
He
times.
got me back.
I just had to get that one.
He got me back. I like it. I respect it, Scotty. I'm excited to see what other questions you bring me next week.
Man. Ty leads the overall running score 10-2, by the way.
Yeah, you're done good for yourself though, Scotty. You got 2 on me.
So
you gotta find certain niches. There's certain things I don't know. There's certain categories. I'm obviously not gonna tell you because then I'll just study those categories then before you come on the show next.
Come back with artistic or rhythmic gymnastics questions next week, and you'll stump Scotty. You'll stump Ty real quick.
Yeah.
I'll study real obscure before the show, Scotty. So you got to find that right niche that I don't study or I'm not ready for.
We'll be right back with more Brian Tolnar coming up next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sutman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. Ty Bartell, and as we are always on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, we are joined by Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek Golf. We call him the golf guru for a reason. Brian, how we doing today?
Good, guys. How's your afternoon going?
We're going really good, really good. We always a great afternoon when we can have you on the show. Got a lot to talk about today. Let's start in the high school realm. Boardman boys and girls sweeping the AAC championship last night. Talk a little bit about this program, what makes them both so good, some players that really stuck out in that AAC championship, and what kind of big accomplishment this is for both the teams.
Well, I'll tell you what makes both of the teams at Boardman so good is, number one, they play at Mill Creek, so I'm a little biased on that. But no, number two, they're coached by some great people. Coach Chrisman for the girls team and Coach Ferleski for the boys team. Really dedicated to the program, and they're two coaches, which if you had to choose someone to coach your program, they're in it for the right reason. They work hard with the kids. They're here beyond the hours of practice, making sure that their players, are practicing well, are playing well, are engaged in the game. And like I said, they're here. If any player has an issue or a problem, they're always there. They're here, late on weekends when a player wants to come out. Just doing the things that you need to do to be successful. And I think anytime that you go play your conference championship, especially at a place like Youngstown Country Club, it's a tough venue to play, no matter if you're in high school or you're a collegiate athlete or so on down the line. It's got very deep rough. It's got lightning fast greens, puts a premium on short game. And I think, the teams that certainly play well there have to have all those attributes. They have to hit as many fairways as possible, because it's tough to advance the ball out of the rough at Youngstown, because it is so deep and it is so lush. Give yourself the opportunity to hit some greens. If you miss some greens, you have to have the tools in the bag that are necessary to get the golf ball up and down. And I think both of the teams, both at Boardman, boys and girls, spend a lot of time on our chipping green and our chipping area, whether it's working out of the bunker, whether it's working on chip shots, high flop shots, low running shots, pitch and runs. They do that extremely well, and they're coached very, very well from that aspect. So to have a good short game is vital to score well there, and it's one of the reasons why both of those teams won. The girls, I believe, won back-to-back. The boys have had a long history of winning that conference over there. I'm not sure if they went back-to-back or not, but they've won it out of the 7 years that I've been here, probably all but maybe 1 year. So, I mean, the history of them playing well there and in 18-hole formats. They certainly putt well. To shoot the numbers of the Boardman boys and the girls team shot, you had the medalist. Not only did you win it from a team aspect with the Boardman boys, but you had the medalist Ryan Sam, who shoots 72, which is a phenomenal score in the conditions that they had to play in. It was very hot yesterday as well. So to pull off those kind of scores and to shoot those kind of numbers are extremely well. And on the girls' side, Madison Murphy shoots 82. So I mean that's very solid. And I think it really bodes well for when these teams go to sectionals and they go play districts. And I think for Boardman, the boys team, I think it really started last week with a big win over Canfield, who's, has had a heck of a season in high school golf. And I think is one of the better teams in our area. And to be able to beat them up in a match here at Mill Creek and then, have the opportunity to play well and really get some positive momentum going into the conference championship really allowed them to play well. But I think, when we talk about both of these teams at Boardman, you got to talk how well they're coached. Their players get it. The coaches are heavily involved and they do the time that's necessary to make their team better week in and week out. And I've watched this with Brian Terlesky, especially with the boys team. He hadn't had the best talent, after that team that graduated a couple of years ago that went to state 3 or 4 times in a row. And most of their kids are playing for the Youngstown State men's team right now. To be able to build and mold a group of freshmen that are now juniors and seniors and doing special things on the golf course, I think is phenomenal. Same thing with the girls program with Coach Crispin, what she's been able to do. And, getting players that graduated a lot and, getting a new cast of characters in there to be able to play and participate at a high level, I think is important. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've had the success that they've had, because they're well coached and they have that dedication towards their teams.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me a little bit about this AAC too, because I mean, what we see, I mean, usually I think all these programs too, the Canfield, the Austintown program, I know they build into their golf programs a lot. But what is it about this Boardman team? I mean, obviously we know every area of their game is fantastic for both programs to be as successful as they are. But if there was one X factor, I mean, you could go boys and girls. What is one X factor about their game that makes them so tough to beat and so good as a collective group?
I think for me, it's the depth that they have in their lineups. They've had a core of players that have played together now 3 and 4 years. And I think, as you build cohesion in a team, you want to have that team play and practice together. And it's, one of the things that some of the teams that I played on, did together. We would travel to tournaments over the course of summer. Joey Worsenscraft and Ryan Sam and the crew that's with Boardman have played together, whether it be junior golf, whether it be summer golf tournaments, or now high school golf for 3 or 4 years. Same way with the girls side of the program at Boardman. You have that familiarity, and having a player on your team be able to pick you up or be able to lift you up when you've had a couple bad holes, to keep you grinding, keep you focused and stay positive. And I think another thing that they do is they don't let big numbers scare them. Yeah, you can have a bad hole or two, but you really have to grind it out on those other 6 or 7 holes to, get the benefit and make everything that you can out of your round. And I think that's the biggest difference between them as they stand out against the other teams in their division. They've played together as this core group for a number of years. They know themselves very well. Other teams have a good balance of seniors, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, but, they all come in together. They're all going to exit together, and then a new batch starts. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. The teams that I played with in high school had 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, 2 seniors, and we did 2 at large when I was at Hubbard. So, I mean, you always had that solid core that always moved on. The seniors and juniors led them and took the freshmen and sophomore under their wing. Boardman does a little bit differently. They're all coming in, as freshmen and sophomore, and they're all graduating, juniors and seniors. So, as you lose a big chunk, you're really developing your players. And I think, from a coaching perspective, that's where they are just that little bit upper echelon as it comes to winning divisions and being consistent through a 8 or 10 year period of time.
From high school to college, last week we previewed the YSU Invitational at Mill Creek. How did that go? What is a recap on that, and give us some information about how that went?
You got it. Well, it just finished up yesterday. Had a great few days. We had the teams in on Saturday playing practice rounds. Sunday they had an alumni event for the all golf alumni at Youngstown State for the ladies. In addition, they had some other teams play some practice rounds, and then we went Monday and Tuesday 36-hole tournament. The biggest field that we've ever had here at Mill Creek. A number of teams from all over this region. A lot of great golf was played. University of Akron ended up taking the title at 590. Local Boardman native Jacinta Puconas, who played for Boardman, as we're talking about Boardman, went on to the University of Akron. Has had some injuries the past couple of years, but they were able to prevail and edge out our Youngstown State Penguins by a couple shots at 598. So, to be able to play well and have a lot of local players in this field is pretty special when we talk about junior golf and high school golf and, the core of things that we do here at Mill Creek. To be able to host a collegiate event of this magnitude that brings 15 to 17 teams in, which is the largest field that they've had, plus some individual play, and to be able to shoot some scores that the girls shot. From an individual perspective, we had 3 tie for medalist honors at 146. You had Jen David from Akron. You had Abby Pierce from Akron, and Danae Regalo from Youngstown State all share medalist honors at 2 over par 146 for the week. To be able to shoot that, and the girls, when they played this event, played from our white tee markers, so the golf course plays relatively long for a collegiate event for them. And to be able to do what they did, I mean, Youngstown State, bounced back. I believe they were in 5th place, going into the final round yesterday, and shot the lowest round for the tournament at 292. So, to be able to jump back in at the slide ahead of Cleveland State, Detroit Mercy, and the rest that were leading it to round out everything was spectacular. So you got Akron University took first, Youngstown State took second, followed by Cleveland State, Detroit Mercy, Evansville, Dayton, Western Michigan, Walsh, Bucknell, Chicago State, Niagara. YSU had a secondary team in there, and they were just beat out St. Francis and Mount St. Mary's and Lake Erie College. So to be able to have all of those teams from this region of the country and to have 3 strong candidates finish at 146 for medalist honors, and the stuff that Youngstown State's been able to do with bringing people in here to have hotel stays and to provide financial impact to the local economy is spectacular. Everybody ate here. The course of the 3 or 4 days that they were here, everybody had practice rounds here. They brought spectators. We had about 200 spectators each day, the most we've ever had for this event. And to be able to host it and be a part of it is special for the Mill Creek Metro Parks and Mill Creek Golf Course as a whole. But spectacular golf was played. The ladies continue to impress. You got to look at it this way too. Youngstown State finishes second by 8 shots behind a MAC school, which is a little bit of a division up from where the Horizon League is. And we had our 2 best players sit out with injury. The Pang, who plays for us, normally shoots even par or under par. She's got the course record for this event at 64 a couple years ago. She was the medalist here 2 years ago, along with our second player, Grand is her last name. And, they both shared medalist honors 2 years ago, and they're both out with wrist and back injuries. So, to be able to come in second with your 2 best players in your lineup, who are seniors going in, having to sit out a home match is, certainly a big obstacle to overcome. But I mean, for why Youngstown State did, and Nate Miklas and his team, were able to overcome, that's pretty special. That just means when this group is healthy, they're going to do some real damage when it comes to the Horizon League Championship.
And Brian, before we talk about the Ryder Cup and the European team that got selected this week, I want to give you the chance to talk about the Mill Creek PGA Hope program. We at YSN are proud to be a small part of it. Go into a little bit of what's going to be going on and what it's all about on October 19th, and just what it means for the Mill Creek Metro Parks to have this event.
Well, it's going to be a special event. There's no doubt about it. And it means a lot to not only the Mill Creek Metro Parks, but the the PGA professional staff here at Mill Creek. It's something that we have worked hard on for the past 3 or 4 years, getting prepared, going through the classes necessary to deal with adaptive golf, PTSD when it comes to military stuff. We've went through training. I've been fortunate enough that I've been a part of this program when I was up in Rochester, New York. It's something that we started, I want to say, about 15 years ago while I was at Blue Heron Hills Golf Club. And the Western New York section does a wonderful job of, getting involved in camps that benefit our military, all divisions of military, and those who come back injured. It's open to any military veteran that wants to come and sign up. We started at the Canandaigua VA and the Buffalo VA when I was in the Western New York section, got training and certified and everything up there in Western New York, and really wanted to bring the enjoyment of giving the game of golf to the people that give us our great freedom here in the United States. So to be able to do that here, for me personally, is probably the most rewarding program that we'll have in my whole tenure being here, just because I know the magnitude and what it means to our military officers that come and participate. Stacy, Andy Santor at the time, both head professionals here at Mill Creek, as well as our assistant professional, Ryan Turnbull, all got certified in adaptive golf and PGA Hope certification over the past couple years. Obviously, this was a program that we wanted to start last year. Unfortunately, COVID jumped in there and, really, threw a curveball at us. So, good things come to those who wait, and it's something that we brought back this year, put it on the schedule, and it's going to be on October 19th, which is a Tuesday from 11 to 1. And our program will work as any veteran that wants to sign up. We are limited to 24 based on the number of people that we have certified to teach. We have a group of volunteers, a lot of veteran volunteers that are employed here at the golf course, want to help out, and they've been nothing but helpful. And when we said we're going to do this program, how can I help? So the day will be focused on giving free golf instruction in that time period to anybody that wants to come out. They'll have a sign up. We'll take care of them. We'll have a bunch of different stations. We'll have a bunch of different contests and prizes. We had Mahoning Valley Hospital Foundation and Mike Senchak donate $5,000 to this program as a startup to buy infrastructure. That's flags. You'll see the facility decorated with beautiful flags and banners. We have shirts for the veterans. We have hats for the veterans. We have dog tags for the veterans. The military is big with challenge coins. We have a special commemorative challenge coin that we'll be handing out everybody that participates. Just going to be a great day for golf instruction, bringing people into the game of golf, giving them a stress-free environment to play and with free instruction. Another thing is with the families that come, and a lot of families are involved in these veterans' lives since their return home from war or whatever military post that they've been assigned to. We want to give them a fun day as well. So we're going to have our trolley here at the Metro Parks be involved, giving free trolley tours. We'll have a number of those going from the golf course parking lot in that time frame, just to give the military and their families a nice, relaxed day here at the Mill Creek Metro Parks. It's a little thing that we can offer. We're super excited that YSN is involved, as well as the Northern Ohio PGA. I mean, really promoting the program, and we're one of 2 programs in the Northern Ohio PGA that does this. There's one in Canton with a good friend, Renee Powell, who does a PGA Hope program. Hers is more geared to women. Ours is geared to anybody, men and women, anybody who served that wants to be a part and learn the game of golf or just sharpen up on their skills on the game of golf. It's going to be a fun day. We'll have food for everybody that's here as well as part of that donation. So just a fun-filled day, and it's a very rewarding day from a PGA professional's perspective in giving people the opportunity to give us freedom, a day that we sort of celebrate what they've done for us and all they do for our country. And we couldn't have timed it better with what's going on in the world and everything that's been up and down worldwide. We truly do live in the best country on the planet, and we're certainly lucky to be here, and the freedoms that we have are tremendous compared to what other folks have across the planet. So, it's our day to say thank you.
And you said it, Brian, and I speak for everyone at YSN. We are so proud to be a small part of this event. Hats off to everyone that put into work to put it together. Our colors are red, white, and blue for a reason. Like you said, the best country in the world. And our military and our veterans are always one of the driving forces of why we do what we do here at YSN. So proud to be a part of that event on October 19th, and we're looking forward to it. Another thing we're looking forward to is the Ryder Cup, and the European team has been announced. Brian, talk a little bit about who they selected. I know their selection process a little bit different than ours, and who the American team will have kind of looking across the way at them.
Well, I'll tell you what, the American team certainly has an uphill challenge, as we discussed last week. But, as the team has now come out, they have 9 what we call at-large bids, where you have automatic qualifying. That was taken care of over this past weekend, and then they solidified the team about a day or two ago with their 3 captains picks. A little bit different than the way the Americans did it. It historically has always been, you have 10 at-large and you have 2 captains picks. The U.S., based on where the schedule felt that they needed to adjust to be more competitive. Although I think it's worked out about the same, having 6 captains picks and 6 at-large automatic qualifiers. But, for whatever reason, the European Tour seems to get a lot more acclimated and fired up for this rivalry. I know the United States has had a huge lion's share when it comes to the amount of wins early on, and probably the last back half of this series, the Europeans have really beat up the United States squad, quite a bit. So they certainly have a winning formula, and how they devise and come up with their team, certainly makes them successful. And I think, their team formation, they only have 3 rookies on the team this year. They have 3 really proven veterans. And you have, 3 players on their team that have a losing record when it comes to the Europeans, where the United States are pretty much on the opposite. We have 6 rookies. We have, of the 6 veterans and at large, I think 3 of them have losing records going in, and that includes DJ Dustin Johnson, who you wouldn't think would have a losing record. But the good thing about the Americans team is they're very young. The oldest player on the team is 37 years old. Unlike what you're going to see with our European lineup, you're going to have 3 or 4 guys in their 40s, being Lee Westwood, the oldest, at 48 years old. But if you look at his record compared to the United States, it's top to bottom. I think he's probably one of the most winningest guys that have ever played in this rivalry. So we'll start with top to bottom. Number 1, Jon Rahm, probably had the best year of anybody on the PGA Tour. 26 years old, number 1 in the world. He's got a lot going for him. He's playing extremely well. However, he's played in 1, and he does have a losing record at 1 win and 4 losses. So, keeping that in mind, this will be his 2nd year. So you want to say he's a veteran, but he's really not. He's really a sophomore when it comes into the team. Can do a lot of damage. Number 2, Tommy Fleetwood. One of those guys that we talk about in majors week in and week out, just always solid, top 10, top 15, doesn't win that much, but he's always there. He's always on the first page of that leaderboard. Another guy that's 30 years old that's played in 2 of these now, and he's got a winning record at 4-1. Coming in at number 3, Terrell Hatton. I know it's one of the guys that we've picked on a number of shows to contend and play well, and he's won a number of times on the PGA Tour. Another one of those guys, like Rahm's, got a losing record going into one of the few that they have on their team. Brent Wiesenberger from Australia, 35 years old, winning record. Another guy that's solid, hits a lot of fairways, quietly under the radar, coming in at that 4th spot on a very good team from a depth perspective. Rory McIlroy, number 5, oddly enough, has a 500 record in Ryder Cup play. It seems like every time that we watch the Ryder Cup, Roy's always winning matches. So to think that he has a 500 record in Ryder Cup play is sort of a head scratcher. He always seems to be in it, always seems to make a putt or a chip in or a hole out when you need to. And I think he'll have another successful year. He will definitely get amped up for this event representing Northern Ireland. I'm thinking Youngstown State's Conference there. Victor Hovland, Another guy that we talk a lot about, him and Colin Morikawa sort of going head to head. Victor Hovland's, from Norway, he's a rookie on the team as well, like Brent Wiesenberger is. Just one of those guys that has no fear whatsoever when he goes out to the golf course. Hits a ton of fairways and a ton of greens, and whoever he's going to be partnered up with this week is going to have a luxury in front of him of having a lot of birdie putts and a lot of opportunities and the ability to play aggressively, because he's always in the fairway and he's always hitting greens, giving himself some opportunity. So he'll be a great competitor when it comes to alternate shot, and he'll be a good competitor in the best ball as well, giving his partner a number of opportunities to be a little bit more aggressive, but just how good he is. Paul Casey, another one of those guys that we've talked about when we talk about Ryder Cups, that continues to play well. 44 years old, but tends to play well in these team format events. I expect him to have another good year and have a solid performance. The last guy that has a losing record on this team is Matthew Fitzpatrick, one of the younger guys on the European Tour. Tends to win a lot overseas, a little bit less here in the United States, but at 27 years old, he's still youthful when it comes to a good PGA Tour and a European Tour career. His record's 0-3-0, but that could change this year. He's certainly playing well heading in. He's got a number of top 10 finishes as well. And the last automatic qualifier is Lee Westwood, a guy that's a veteran on this team. He's 48 years old. Really reminds me of Phil Mickelson when he qualified a few years back. Really that statesman to the team. Plays well. He's always paired with Sergio Garcia and Ian Poulter and Rory McIlroy, and just is a great teammate. I think he'll be great in the team room, pumping up guys that may have struggled a little bit, or continuing the momentum of guys that are playing extremely well, giving them some cheering on. I'm not sure how many matches he's going to play at 48 years of age. If he plays 3, that would be a lot during the course of the week. But Lee Westwood is at 48 years old, to qualify on your own is something special. He has 20 wins in the Ryder Cup, and that's second to Sergio Garcia, and just one of those guys that always plays well. And again, there's a core group of players: Rory McIlroy, Lee Westwood, Sergio Garcia, Ian Poulter. Are all guys, when we talk about the Ryder Cup, very similar to the Sandy Lyles and the Jose Maria Olazabal and Seve Ballesteros. Those guys just, for whatever reason, got the best out of their game during the 1 week they had to during the Ryder Cup. And I think if you play well in this and you've got some positive momentum, it certainly rolls downhill with the rest of your team and your competitors. And I think, having Lee Westwood on this team, and especially to be able to automatically qualify at 48 years of age, which is unheard of, and it's tough to do, certainly makes him, we talk about Lee Westwood, he's certainly going to be a captain of this team someday, probably in the near future, but to have him on, which is probably going to be his last Ryder Cup, is probably very special to him in his career. He's done well in the majors. He's held 54-hole leads in some of the majors, just couldn't close it out on Sunday. But he's always around and plays great venues well, and I expect him to do the same thing at Whistling Straits. Now we get into the captain's picks, the lion's share of this team, and I think they've got some really good ones. However, I think they've got a lot of age when it comes to their captain's picks. With 3 rookies on the team, I think you need to have 3 veterans paired up with them, and I think their captain did a wonderful job. And that being Padraig Harrington, of selecting these 3 competitors. Number 1, Shane Lowry. He's a rookie at 34 years of age. Shane Lowry has won at Firestone at the WGC event. He's played well in majors. He's won a major. He plays well overseas. He plays well in venues like Whistling Straits. He's very long off the tee at 34 years old from Ireland. I expect him to play extremely well. He does bring a veteran-like presence as a rookie, so it certainly is going to be helpful because he's around a lot of the younger guys. I think they look up to him, and I think that's going to be important for their team. Coming in at the 11th spot is Sergio Garcia, a name synonymous with the Ryder Cup. Jose Maria Lozaba really brought him under his wing. They played together a lot in the early on stages when he was on the team at 20 years old and 22 years old. To be able to have a 41-year-old who's got the most wins on the European side at 22, got a record of 22, 12, and 7 going into the Ryder Cup, I think it speaks volumes about how he plays in this event and in team events. These guys really get into it for their country and countries. Unlike the United States, who's got one country, they have a myriad of countries when you consider all of Europe. And these guys, really raise the flag when it comes to playing team golf and partner events. They work hard for their partners. They work hard in the singles matches. They're very intimidating when they come to the tee, but they've done well and they've won. And I think Sergio Garcia is the prototypical European player and has been for the past 20 plus years on these Ryder Cup teams. So to see him, play well heading into this, he's played well the last 3 or 4 weeks of PGA Tour competition and overseas competition. I like where his game's at. He's got a major under his belt now with his win at the Masters a few years ago. He certainly plays well on the big stage, and I think he'll continue to do so for Padraig Harrington. And then our last spot is, sort of the spark plug of the team, Ian Poulter. Ian Poulter, at 45 years of age, continues to play well and continues to make a career on what he's been able to do in and at the Ryder Cup. He's a guy that likes to chat to the other players a little bit, which, you have to have that to be cocky and be competitive at these team events. And he's a big personality in the locker room. He's a veteran personality. He's been on a number of winning teams for Europe. And I think that winning breeds winning. And I think he's going to be great for the younger guys on this team. And I think of Matthew Fitzpatrick. I think of Victor Hovland. Even for the most part, John Rahm, I put him into that mix because no, he's not a rookie. He's played once before, and he's the number 1 player in the world. But the team event is different, and you got to elevate his game. And I think guys like Ian Poulter, Sergio Garcia, and Lee Westwood, I think you're going to see Rahm paired with a number of those guys to really make him have a jumping springboard to make sure that he's playing up to his potential. As an individual on the PGA Tour, they're going to try to bring that into the team competition. And I think Ian Poulter is one of those guys that can bring out the best of John Rahm and Victor Hovland and get Matthew Fitzpatrick with a losing record in the Ryder Cup to a 500 record after the end of this year, if not a positive outcome as well. So, the team's going to be very tough to beat. And we talked about that last week on the conditions that they're going to play. The conditions of the golf course at Whistling Straits are certainly going to favor European because it is a Seaside Links style design, which is what they're accustomed to playing. The format favors them as well. On paper, they're just a little bit better. They have less rookies. They have more veterans. The United States has 6. They have 3. Top to bottom, if I look at it on paper, I give Europe the advantage, as I did last week. The Americans have to play extremely well. And they have to play a little bit above their ability, I think, going forward. I'm all for the United States. I'm rooting for the United States. But I just think the Europeans, with how they're built and how they're playing heading into it, and to be able to play right up to it, I think is important too. The Americans will take that 2 or 3 weeks off, where the Europeans kind of go into it right after competition. I mean, they just finished up qualifying. Next week we start the event. So, they're using their momentum. They're using their playing time of trying to qualify up to the very last week to be able to get in, where the United States, finished the FedEx Cup playoffs a few weeks ago and still have another week of either playing and practicing or getting together as a team. You got the 2 or 3 week stretch where you haven't had much golf and not competitive golf too, which makes a little bit of a difference. So I always, sort of scratch my head at how the Americans stop. They give themselves a nice gap of vacation, but it really hasn't progressed into being competitive going forward. So I'm hopeful that the United States will win, although I think the Europeans certainly have that little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly too. I mean, Brian makes a lot of great points too, and John Rahm's one of those guys that I'm looking at going into this one that I think he's going to be one of those key factors in, because I mean he's been having a pretty successful year all around too, and he's just one of those guys that is just always consistent. It seems like for them. And of course, we know Paul Casey and what he does too, and Tommy Fleetwood are big over there. Rory McElroy too. I mean, we know him from over here a lot too. But I mean, I agree with Brian. I just think that Europeans have a team that has been playing a lot more consistently, it seems like, all year, and it seems like it's a course that favors them a lot more.
I mean, I look at it. You bring up those guys, and you look at John Rahm. He's playing phenomenal. But you look at John Rahm, Terrell Hatton, and Matthew Fitzpatrick, probably the three biggest young guns on the European team. And you look at them historically, they have one win between them in Ryder Cup matches and the one or two Ryder Cups that they've been in, which is like a head scratcher to me because they're a lot better than that. And if those guys even, finish at 500 for the week, they're going to be way ahead, knowing that they blew us out 17.5 to 10.5 last time with those guys having a losing record. Those guys aren't going to keep losing. I can tell you that. They're too good to carry that on. So if they play halfway decent and pick up half of those wins, it could get ugly.
It's kind of bittersweet because we're anticipating the Ryder Cup so much and we're diving into it. But next week we'll have our final Ryder Cup preview and predictions, and then we're in the off season.
It's unbelievable. Like you blinked your eyes this year and the season was gone, and it's been a solid stretch between last year and this year with, being one of the sports that you can play and it's outdoors and golf as a whole. We're halfway through the high school football season after this weekend, which is like, it's a head scratcher. The golf season's got a couple months left and high school football's halfway done. I mean, it's crazy.
We talked about that on Monday, how fast the season kind of goes once it kicks off. Brian, it's time for the most anticipated part of our segment. It is your weekly tip of the week. What do you have for our wonderful viewers this time around as far as tips on the golf course go?
This week's going to be a little bit different. We're going to go with know your roles. And we had a couple players get disqualified over the Roseanne Schwartz NCAA Invitational. And they were just common, basic things that you may do in junior golf. Every once in a while, you'll see it in high school golf, but very seldom will you see it in collegiate golf or professional golf or top-rated amateur golf. And that is, doing the things that are necessary when your round is complete or you're in the round. And I'll give you basically three scenarios of kind of what happened over the past couple of days. At things that, number one, the rules committee and the PGA professionals do not like disqualifying anybody. It's just it's a bad feeling. It makes you feel awful. But at the end of the day, you go to the rules book, and the book makes the decision, not the golf professional. So anytime that we open up that book, we talk about how important it is to, number one, know the rules and know some of the basic rules. I think are probably the most important, and being aware of what's going on around you. When you're out on the golf course and you're playing, that's one thing. When you're closing out your round and you're tidying up your scorecard at the end, it can cost you. I think of Roberto DiVincenzo at the Masters, who signed the incorrect scorecard and lost the Masters. Won the Masters on paper, didn't sign his scorecard correctly, and was disqualified and lost the Masters. Very similar to some of the things that we saw here at the collegiate level, which is a head scratcher. And 7 years of running 8 or 9 collegiate events here, we've not run into a couple things, but things happen. Mistakes are made. I can go back to my time as the head professional at Avalon Lakes. We had the Zabrowski brothers, Eddie and John Zabrowski. John Zabrowski's played a number of USGA championships, played on the Porter Cup for the United States, a big time amateur golfing player, synonymous in the Valley. Him and his brother were head to head for the club championship. Both hit it in the bunker on the last hole and went in and played the wrong ball. 2-shot penalty, and ends up losing the club championship. So on the last hole of a 36-hole tournament. So, there's little things that you have to do to make sure that you're on the right track and you're doing what you're supposed to as a player. and we'll start with, scoring. Number one, and I've got a scorecard here just so you guys can see. This is one from the Youngstown State Invitational. A couple things that you'll see on this is, number one, up top, this is where if I'm the player taking the player's score, I can keep my own score up here. Important to do that to make sure that your scores are correct at the end. A couple things you'll see at the bottom, you'll have a player signature, and then you'll have an attesting mark. So this is the person who, took the score, wrote down the score, and then you're looking at the score, you verify it, and you sign your name. Once you turn this score in, this is your document of what you played. So it has to be accurate and it has to be correct, no matter what. You take your time, you go over the hole by hole when you're finished. The player's only responsible for, the scores that are above here. The darked out boxes are the totals for the front 9 and the back 9. So a couple of things that you'll see on here. This is the front 9 score. The player's only responsible for hole by hole. So they don't even have to add up their scorecard. The committee does that. So when you guys finish, this is what our staff does. So they're responsible for the 5-5, 3-6, 4, 3-2, etc. And the tournament committee is responsible for 38, 42, score of 80. So one of the things that we ran into, and this isn't the actual card for that, but the player went over hole by hole, wasn't paying attention to the hole by hole. She signed for a card that had 2 shots less than she scored. If it's less than what you scored, you get disqualified. So we had a player do that. So they had a 6 on the hole that they really had 7 on, and they had another hole was I believe a 4, and they had a 3 on it, but they were in a hurry to get out of the scorer's tent and just was kind of going through the motions. This document is just as important as a player's perspective of going out there and hitting those shots, hitting a shot off the tee, hitting a shot into the green, chipping and putting, not 3 putting. If you do that and you sign for the incorrect score, you're in trouble, especially when it's lower than what you said. Now, if it's the opposite, if I sign for a 7 and I really made a 5, you're stuck with the 7 because that's what you attested to. That was my score. So it's important to go over hole by hole with who took your score to make sure that your scorecard is accurate. And before you put your signature on it, you want to make sure that each one of those 18 boxes are correct before you sign it. We had another player that was in a hurry to get on the bus, never signed their scorecard to attest that their score. The marker signed it. They went over the hole by hole. She never signed it. Bucknell gets on the bus. They leave. We're posting the score. She doesn't have a signature. Score can't count. She's not here to sign it. They took off, left back for New York, got disqualified. So, just as important as it is playing, it's important to take all the time that you need in that scorer's tent or at that scorer's table to make sure that the hole by hole is correct, that we verify your total is correct, because we can verify your total and say, hey, you shot 72 today. Is that what you had? Yes, correct. And you may have had something else on the scorecard. So that's, vital that you go over it with the people that are doing the scoring, but your hole by hole has to be correct. Number 2, you have to sign it. And the last incident that we had that a player got disqualified for is anytime that you play a secondary golf ball. If you're unfamiliar with the rules, we always ask a competitor to go out and play a second golf ball. Play both from wherever you have that ruling, put 2 scores, and the tournament committee and the PGA professional staff will decide what the score is based on where the rules are in the rule book. A player on our 17th hole hit it over the green in 2. We have a flower bed. It's free relief from a flower bed. You had the opportunity to play 1 out of the flower bed and 1 outside the flower bed with a free drop, free relief, which is how it was on the rule sheet. Before you do that, the player has to announce to the group that, hey, I'm playing a provisional ball because I don't know what the ruling is going to be. So I'm going to play the second ball. I'm going to play both of them. She never declared that she played a provisional ball, dropped it. Once she dropped that ball was now in play. So now she's hitting 2 balls, and it was, you're through about 3 or 4 different rule scenarios in the rule book. So once you take that misstep and not declaring it, it's on the player. So it's the player's responsibility to make sure that they identify and call that, as it is the player's responsibility to sign the scorecard at the end of the day. very, very important. 3 things that happen, and it's, normally you don't get 3 things that happen in 10 years. We had 3 things that happen in the matter of one day by just making some common mistakes that you don't even see at the junior or high school level, all happen at the collegiate level, and it really changed the outcome of a couple teams. St. Francis had one where they couldn't score all their players. They only had 4 on their secondary team. You need 4 scores to count for the team game. They could only count 3 because the other player got disqualified. So now they're out of the tournament completely. And the individual you can deal with because you've got the other scores, but the individual that made the mistake on the scorecard score was better than what they had to count. So they ended up counting the player's score that was about 7 shots higher. So that reflected differently on how their team was able to play. So, I mean, you have to cross all your T's and dot all your I's to make sure that you're heading in the right direction and you're doing the things that not only are going to not cost you individually, but are not going to cost the team in the long run, whether it be counting a score or finishing in second place as opposed to 5th place or vice versa. So taking care of business, announcing your intentions on playing that provisional ball are vital, hole by hole, vital on the scorecard. So they're basic little things that you need to do, whether you're an amateur or professional. And, people make mistakes. But if you're all there having a conversation about it before you turn your scorecard in, the mistakes get verified and taken care of before you hand it in and you physically sign off on the scorecard.
Usually cross your T's and dot your I's is just a metaphor or a figure of speech. This time, you literally better cross your T's and dot your I's and sign that scorecard.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference in the outcome, and your teammates are depending upon you, and to let them down is big in a team format.
You're also letting yourself down too. Document your score too. Put your hard work out there too. It's nothing if it doesn't get documented too. So you might as well make sure you have all that correct too on that end too.
The bus will never leave without you, I promise.
No doubt in my mind. One of the things that we would tell our high school students, and things that we talk about in junior golf, is anytime that you finish a hole, when you reach in and pick it out, announce it right then to everybody in the group. I made 4, I made 5, I made 3, I made 2. That way, when they're walking to the next tee, that's when you write the score down. Everybody's on the same page. If you announce it, that way you're not forgetting, hey, what did you have back on hole 15? Well, that was 3 holes ago, and I'm focused on what I'm doing now. So, it's important to do that documentation after every single hole. And some players get lackadaisical and say, what'd you have in the last 3? Because I forgot to put the score down. Very important. That's why it's important that you keep yours at the top of those scorecards, even though someone else is taking care of your card.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us this week. Next week, we'll have our kind of season finale. We'll preview the Ryder Cup and we'll make our predictions, and it'll be a fun time.
It's exciting. Go USA. Thanks for all you guys do at YSN.
Of course, Brian. Of course. We'll see you next week, bud.
You got it. Thank you.
Brian Tolnar, golf guru from Mill Creek Park, joining us like he does every week on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We'll take a quick time out, be back to wrap up the show on ysnlive.com.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. And we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, Or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSwealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Running Point, live on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And that's going to do it for today's show, as we have Ty has to get out of here and do some studential duties like he always does. We think we want to give him a shout out as we see our last images of Ty. We'll want to thank Brian Tolnard for joining us today. Tomorrow from 12 to 2, we will be joined by Sammy Kelly, the senior from Lowville volleyball, at 12. Josh Kelly, the head coach from Lowville volleyball, at 12:15. And then at 12:45, we will be joined by Mooney Boys soccer head coach Matt Britton, as he will help us preview that big matchup with Howland tomorrow night. So that's what we have on the docket tomorrow, including our in-depth preview of some of the high school football matchups of week 5.
Look for that to start at the 1 o'clock hour. As what teams are we going to be previewing? Maybe I let some cats out of the bag today with some big games to look forward to this week. But we'll definitely be looking forward to our in-depth previews tomorrow.
All right, for everyone here, we're taking a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow, 12 to 2. The Casual Sports podcast is coming up at 2, from 2 to 3. Power Hour also will be from 3 to 4. So we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.